Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for your episode of London Clubs Carnage. Big up your damn selves in the building. It's a tough week. It's a tough week. When I was going through it and I was adding the little diamonds on the head pieces on the thumbnail, I realized that everybody had picked up an L apart from Lawless. And not just one W over the weekend, but also he's in the Conference League final as well after Thursday, the last team on this panel to be in Europe. So, silly question, Lawless, but how are you doing?
Doing very well. I'm doing very, very, very well. You know, it's been a long season. You know, I've had to put up with a lot of shit on this show, you know. But a few shows back, I said something, and it's coming to light. I said, he who laughs last laughs loudest. Yeah. And right now, I'm starting to I'm getting the giggles. Do you know what I mean? But in June, after June 7th, I'm going to be laughing my head off. Because look at this now. The only one this weekend who didn't lose. Not mind one, but didn't lose. 3 people held an L. I held a W through to a European final. 1 game away from winning that trophy, yeah. And being the only one on this show to hold some silverware this season. It's glorious. Glorious.
It doesn't make any sense.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the story of the tortoise and the hare. Do you know what I mean? You lot were the hares. You lot were running up, going, "Oh yeah, we're winning. We're doing this. We're doing that. Oh, you're shit. Your team shit. Relegation battle." And then, do you know what I mean? I'm just tortoising along, minding my business, getting some little wins in Europe here, slowly chugging along, and then bam! Before you know it, I've overtaken to you lot. Do you know what I mean? Past the finish line, 1 game away. Come on, I'm buzzing.
Tobs, talk to me, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just listening to this guy's delusion, man. It's actually quite pleasant to see, because for the majority of the season, he's been like that midget that's trying to fight in the big boys crowd, right? He's been punching, throwing punches, and it's just not really landing because his team have been doing so shit. But now when they're actually starting to look good, right, and they're in the final, obviously he's got a spring in his step. He's got a lot to be happy over. By this logic, David Moyes, if he wins this, he should be a contender for manager of the season. Don't you think, guys?
This is your little thing that you have, right? Do you know what? This is your little backup plan.
Do you agree with me, though, Lawless? Before you
manager of the season.
If David Moyes delivers West Ham their first, this would be what, your first ever European trophy?
No, it'd be us. Well, 3rd recognized UEFA European trophy.
Okay, so first major European trophy in my lifetime, in your lifetime, right?
Yeah. All right, go on. We'll go for that.
So then he should be nominated for manager of the season, and he should go down as one of your greatest ever managers, right?
First of all, right, I believe that when
yes
it comes
or no,
to
before I shut up,
no,
I still got to introduce Potts, so let's keep this short and snappy.
Let them crack on. Like, doesn't it take in mostly the league? If you're manager of the season, you can't do, like, it can't be like you win something in Europe and then you're manager of the Prem season, right? Surely it's got to be, you got to do it in the Prem. That's what I thought. That's why.
Okay, so what about West Ham's history?
You might have got away with that.
But yeah. Listen, you lot need to relax on this, because this has been your little thing in the back of your pocket.
Why are somehow you I just asked you a question. I said, if David Moyes wins this Conference League, does he go down as one of your greatest ever managers? Say
yes, he does. Facts.
He will be up there. He will go down in the history of the club.
He will.
He will.
Just say it.
He'll be up there. He'll be up there
say
as
he's
one of the
greatest.
Who's better than him?
Managers of our history.
Who's better than him?
Who's one saying? Who's better than him?
Yeah. Who ranks
higher? Ron Greenwood. If he don't win the trophy, obviously, listen, Pardew still got us to an FA Cup final.
He's better than Pardew.
Harry Redknapp won the Intertoto Cup, got us 5th. Do you know what I mean?
And got you relegated as well. He's better than them.
Who?
He's better than them.
Who got me relegated? Who got us relegated? He didn't get us relegated.
What's his name? Who did you say before that? Pardew got you to a cup final, did you say?
Yeah, and he got us promoted. But Redknapp did not get us relegated.
If Moyes wins you a Europa Conference League and gets you to a semi-final of a European League, he's not as good as Pardew. You got you to
No, I'm just saying. No, if he doesn't win the trophy,
you seriously hate this guy, man. I can't believe this.
Can I ask you a question? Did he achieve your highest Premier League place finish, or was there a higher?
No, that was Harry Redknapp.
Oh, no,
that was Harry
Bilic,
Redknapp
wasn't it?
fifth. Harry Redknapp
No,
fifth.
Bilic got 50 as well, didn't he?
No, Bilic got 7th. We was a few points off the top 4, but yeah. So Redknapp still got us 5th. So yeah, he's not there. But look, if he wins it, I have to say fair play. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, it'll be not only that we'll be in Europe for the 3rd season in a row. We'll have a trophy. Look, I don't mind. Like, you lot think that you can use that against me. Like, I'm muddied because Moyes has achieved something and I have to give Moyes credit. Listen, if that's the price I have to pay, I will gladly pay it. I will gladly say thank you.
You make him your profile picture again, please.
Listen, I haven't got
Lawless, Lawrence, the reason why I say it is because to emphasize that if he does win this cup, oh yeah, I'll be muddied short term. You'll be muddied long term because you have made all these promises about how you're going to get a new manager in the summer and how it's going to be all different and how David Moyes can't manage some of these players. Do you really believe that you're
Tobs? He's winning it, and then he's retiring. This guy told me so. He's winning the competition, and then he's retiring. He's just going to retire like that, just like that. There's a chance he's going to retire.
There is something in this though. Like, have you lost in this battle for Conference League? Have you lost the battle with your fan base because you were going at loggerheads with your fan base about Moyes, and you were saying, "Yo, you guys, you need to get a grip. It's time for Moyes to go." And we're going to potentially get relegated with this guy. And now you're in a Conference League final. Are you having to retract? Are you having to
call them Moyes fanboys? I'm always arguing with Moyes fanboys. That's what you used to say.
I'm not having this year because they're all in my mentions, trying to quote tweet or come back to my old tweets, and as if we're trying to discount how bad we was at the time, like as if we're just forgetting about that, and that was all part of the plan. Do you know what I mean? Losing these games to the teams around us, that was all part of the plan. It was all 4-0 Brighton. Yep, that's what it was. That was the plan to get us to this level. No, like mistakes were made, and you can see that by the fact that he's gone back to what worked for him last season, the season before, with the counter-attacking football. So evidently he made a mistake. He has admittedly made a mistake by going back to what worked when he's abandoned the possession-based style of football he tried to go to. So he fucked up. It's his fault. You know what I mean?
Some will say you're not proper West Ham. That's the problem, you know. So
listen, I'm proper West Ham, because I'm not a manager fan. I'm a club fan. I'm a fan of my club. I'm not a fan of the manager.
You're not the deluded West Ham fan, you told me.
Yeah. So listen, so long as the manager is doing right by the club, I support the manager. When those two things clash, then I'm gonna call into question. A lot of us were calling him out and saying, "No, the guy's just, you know what I mean? He's not doing it. He's not doing the job."
Do you know what? I'm actually going to agree with you on the fact that you should have been calling him out when you were 17th or 18th, whatever the hell you were at one stage. But when you look at what he's done, he saved you from relegation, right? Then he left. Then you brought him back because you knew it was the right thing for you. Then he got you to Europa League football. Then he got you to Europa League semi-final. Now he's got you to a final of a Conference League. There's a lot of hate for a guy who's doing quite good things at West Ham United. Spent 170 million on unbelievable players you've been bigging up all season. I'm surprised you don't like this guy, man.
Unbelievable players that he, until recently, has not been able to get anything out of. And a lot of those players, one's been injured a lot of the season, but when he played, he couldn't get anything out of him. In Skamaka, Cornet, he just don't play him at all. We don't get to see the guy. Kerr is slowly starting to really come good and is actually, really, really proving me right. Aguerd, coming good. Paquetta, Lucas Paquetta. What did I say? Look at this guy balling, absolutely balling. And people wanted to get on my neck about, Paquetta. Oh, he's looking
because he was playing poorly, man. We never said he was shit. We just said he was playing poorly.
Ridiculous. Because you didn't want to look at the context, though, did you? You didn't want to look at the context. You just wanted to look at he's playing poor right now.
You don't look at the context. So why do you want? You don't look at the context. We did look at the context. We looked at the context. But the fact of the matter is, when you cost a certain amount, there is a minimum level expected of you, and we didn't see that from Paquetta.
But he was being played out of position. He's being played out of position. So
Also, so in recent weeks he's been played in the same position week in, week out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's he playing now? As like a advanced midfielder?
It's like an 8. He plays next to Rice. So
he hasn't played next to Rice at any stage of the season apart from this one.
Well, no, like he's been playing next to Rice since like February, since he started to play good. And a year before that, he was played as a 10, which didn't work. Did not work.
Now Souček's their 10.
Yeah. It's like essentially like he's getting advanced forward. Sometimes we play a midfield 3 and Souček gets forward. But certain players are starting to click now, right? Do you know what I mean? And it's just, for me, I wanted to see progression, and it just took Moyes too long to figure all of these components out rather than have the plan for the player when they come in. Do you know what I mean? Like having them, so you've got Paquetta's strengths. He comes in straight away. He's next to Rice. How different could have things been then? Do you know what I mean? It's just those components deciding whether you want to play a back 5 or a back 4. How much could have Kura benefited from that? Knowing where to play him and how to use him is too much. All over the place. So yeah, Moyes has to take.
You played a strong team at the weekend as well. I was quite surprised. Like you played Leeds, and I thought, okay, you played on Thursday. You're probably going to chill out a little bit, and you guys went with a strong team. I'm guessing that's momentum going into the final. You just want to keep winning, right?
Yeah, it seems to me. Look, it's a lot stronger than I would have played. I'm glad he rested Antonio because he was sort of like hobbling off a bit, and I was like, look, if anyone needs rest, that guy needs rest. But it's just that worry of like Leeds. I expected them to be fighting for their lives, right, and coming in and crunching tackles, all of that stuff. So that worried me, and he took a big risk, but it paid off. Thankfully, no injuries and a 3-1 win. You know what I mean?
Tobs, I know you didn't think they'd make the final, but are you willing to accept that they will do it, or are you still banking on Fiorentina now?
I got a bank on Fiorentina, but to be honest, I checked the table. They're like 12th, man. They don't inspire me with much confidence, but I feel like they've got a couple of players there. They got Bonaventura. They got a couple. Who's that striker they got up top as well?
Jovic.
They got a couple of players that they might have a little something for West Ham. Yeah, so let's see.
You'll be hoping he's going to be smoking that hopium. That's what he's going to be doing. And listen, like this is where we will be next season. If we get that, we win that. Not only we got a trophy, we're back in Europa League. We're in a strong, position for the transfer window. Spurs, but meanwhile, will be out of Europe. No European football at all. He's going to try and spin it into a positive thing, Tobes, and we could concentrate on the league. No, mate. No European football. 8th place. You wanted to, clown Arsenal when they finished 8th, so now you've got to take it. You're sitting there trying to turn it as a positive. I want to finish 8th. I really want to finish 8th. I hope we lose all of our remaining games so we finish 8th. No, do not try and turn it into a positive. You will be in the mud. And after our season, trophy, Europa League football, not many people can say they've had a better season than West Ham, especially Spurs.
It's bad because Tottenham are level on goal difference with Villa, but they're 1 point behind them. They've got Leeds, I think, last day away from home. Leeds obviously need to win. It's going to be the last day of the season, scrapping for final points between Everton, Leeds, and Leicester, depending on what happens tonight at St. James's. Probably Leicester will finish, to be honest.
Spurs can't finish in Europa League now either. They can't.
No, but Brighton have got that wrapped up now. Their goal difference is way too superior of Villa and Tottenham. And I think Brighton have to play City. Will probably be resting again, maybe, I don't know, on Wednesday. But they've got Villa on the last day as well. So it's literally done.
We're up there,
but Potts, let's not let you go amiss. How are you, sir? Because another L for Arsenal, 81 points. It's now become we're the new Liverpool, at least, that have challenged and pushed City all the way to 81 points, lower than Tottenham under Pochettino. What's going on here, bruv?
Grumbled, man. It's poor. It's really poor, actually. I went to Nottingham, and
football's a crumbler.
It was
Arsenal's a crumbler.
Yo, that's wild.
It's typical us under Arteta, mate, in our April and May, it seems, because he was really poor, man, at the weekend. I know the players were poor, but I don't know what he was asking them to do. I don't know what that formation was or team selection. And Tony Adams is coming out, scratching his head, saying, what the hell, something's gone wrong, because they're all very positive, or try to be at least, when it comes to the Arsenal. And I think most of them have been under Mikel Arteta. But I see Partey at right back, Kivior at left back, Tierney on the bench, Jorginho on his own in midfield. Really poor performances individually again from players that, let's be fair, have been really good for us for most of the season. Granit Xhaka, Bukayo Saka trying, not really getting anywhere. Ødegaard making another mistake that led to a goal. Jesus, what's wrong with this guy at the moment, man? But he's missing chances. He's been wasteful. Trossard was invisible pretty much for the whole game. I picked up Nottingham Forest. Say again, mate.
Say it. Best January transfer window signing Trossard. That the same one. Say it.
You don't think he is now just because he had a bad game? He's hardly played for the whole most of this month, bro. You're trying, but you're failing there, bro. He's been outstanding for us.
One goal and 20 appearances. I'm trying but failing. Interesting.
Mate, Trossard's been class for us, man.
Is it really one goal in 20?
I ain't gonna get it. I ain't gonna get on his back. 20-something million. Can't remember. 25, 26. But he's been good, man. You can't see.
If this was Richarlison, the pitchforks would be out.
Shit.
What a load of rubbish. 60 million, one goal in a season. Can't give me a break, man.
Shit.
But back to what went wrong for me, Arteta. I mean, I'm just confused about what I've seen. Since the Liverpool game, I've seen a hell of a lot of mistakes from this manager. But you're not allowed to say it because he's been so great. And he has been great. He has been great. But the minute you start to have concerns again, people will just say, shut up, sit on your hands, be quiet. We're second. We've overachieved, which we have done. And I think what people are missing is that you can actually be bottlers and still overachieve. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
it's a menace to society.
It's rich for him to be shaking a bottle as a Spurs fan, but I think when you look at for me, is that water or is that vodka or gin?
No, it's definitely protein shake.
It's protein shake.
I'm drinking vodka.
Nah, this.
I don't know what you drink, bro.
But after the season you lot have had, I wouldn't be surprised.
But it was a mad one for me because the game finished and Man City had won without even kicking a ball, and it just proved to me they'd already won it weeks ago, if I'm honest. And I think it was beach time for Arsenal at the weekend. I didn't think we did anything. I thought we were so bad. It was boring. I was falling asleep. One of the guys I was with was that drunk. He actually was asleep. Bless him. Big up Mike. Fell asleep on the seat next to me. It's unbelievable. I won't show the pictures. But it was a shambles, Matisse. And I've been really disappointed with a lot that I've seen over the last few years. And, a lot of my points were muddied about the process and the manager and where we are. And look at what we're doing. We're in a title race. But my concerns have risen to the surface again in terms of in-game management by Mikel Arteta in the last 6-7 games, because I think the substitutions, the team selection, the fact that we've been arrogant in games. I actually thought we were really arrogant against West Ham. You can't go 2-0 up and just go, right, now it's all on Southampton and Man City. Threw that one away. Previously did the same at Anfield. And people will say it's not just Mikel Arteta. I agree with that. I think that there's definitely squad problems. I said to this fan base who were calling it a 9 out of 10 window that it was a 6 or a 7. I think I've been proved right. I said in January that we needed a centre-half that was going to be able to replace Saliba that's better than Rob Holding. Said in the summer we needed that. I said we needed a replacement for Saka. Both of these things have come back to be true. I said we could not lose Saka, Partey or Saliba. To be fair, all three of them have been invisible. One of them's not been playing. The other two have been poor. And I think the biggest concern for that is not just the fact that we haven't had a squad, but we're playing one game a week and we look knackered. That's a worry for me, man. That's a serious concern. Now, a lot of people, I remember I spoke to Hugh and he said, the minute you went out the Europa League, I knew we won the league. And I said, really? Why is that? And he's like, because you wait a week and lose, and then another week and you lose, and another week and you lose. You haven't won a game for 4 weeks. Mentally, that's really hard to take. It's like if you could play, let's say, I don't know, Club Bruges in the Europa League and win that game, you then got your winning mentality back. And I thought, I'm okay with one game a week. But actually, maybe he was right. So Yeah, we've gone out of all of these competitions and it's meant absolutely jack shit now. We finished second, which is still a good season, and we go again in the summer. But I think the boys are on the beach now. They knew it was over. They knew it was over when they were lying down crying when we drew to Southampton. You know, you could see the scenes. It was not pick up. What could this point mean? That could mean an extra. Nah, we knew it was done, man, and it was done weeks ago, and that seemed to be the case. Forest, big up, by the way. I gave him praise. I thought they were class. Their atmosphere was amazing, by the way. What a club. Great to see them back staying in the Premier League as far as I'm concerned. But for Arsenal, bad weekend again, man. Bad weekend again.
You see this Arsenal team, right? Has anybody kind of have they gone down in everybody's estimations maybe for the next season based on the way they finished this season? In terms of everybody was talking about Arsenal being the next Liverpool that were gonna push City all the way. I expect them to get to minimum the last week of the season in terms of it's going to be Brighton, Brentford are still going to be games where City have to put out a strong team. They might win it by 3 points, 4 points max. And it's going to be an Arsenal team that pushed them all the way and they maybe finish on 90 points or on 89. But you're on 81, you got Wolves. I expect you to beat them, but you never know. You never know. You might just fuck that fixture off as well. I'm going through kind of like the previous teams that finished in second. Obviously, you can't chat to Liverpool. We know that 92 points. Man United 74 points. You're better than that Ollie team. No need to conversate on that one. Man City 81, but they've won 5 out of the last 6, so let's not talk about them. 97 Liverpool in 19. Again, nowhere near them. But then Man United 81 under Mourinho, a team that I think won 2 trophies under that management, Europa League and a League Cup. Tottenham 86 points under Poch in 2017 season when Conte won it. You're going to definitely finish less than them. And then you have to go back to Arsenal, 71 points, 10 points off Leicester in 16. And I know Liverpool, Rodgers as well is another one that people will bring up where they conceded too many goals, they scored lows, SSS, all that stuff. Like, where does this Arsenal team going to rank? Because I saw Turkish in his post-match. He said that this is a season to forget. And a lot of things that Arsenal fans have been saying to me is, you know, this team, we're gonna go all the way to the end. We're gonna love the way that this team's kind of represented us this season. They've played great football. You know, even though we haven't won anything, I'll still be proud. But then I'm watching people are walking out against Brighton. Stadium's half empty. You now have lost to Nottingham Forest. It's 2 wins out of the last 8. Is this team still memorable? Are Arsenal fans still looking at this team saying, oh, this team's still memorable? Because I don't know. It's starting to change now, the narrative.
I don't know if memorable is the word. We might remember him for the wrong reasons, the way that we've capitulated at the end. But there's still a lot of positives to take. I never had us in second, if I'm honest. I didn't think we'd be in a title race. But when it comes to what will this mean, and where will we rank, and what does it mean for us next season? The summer will tell us. If we keep the scene the same, then we could even be just struggling for top 4 because of the way the squad has depleted. We've literally got Saliba, Zinchenko, and Martinelli out, and look at us. We can't win a game. We've won 2 games since Anfield against Chelsea, who were beatable to everybody, and Newcastle away, which was a good performance. That's it. We've either drew or lost every single other game, including the European game where we went out against Sporting Lisbon. So I honestly see the last couple of months as complete and utter failure. When people say that, you know, I spoke to Savile on my channel and he made a good point about the reasons as to why Arsenal have not bottled this league, because they're never good enough to win it anyway. And I kind of was disagreeing with him, saying that might be the case. And you got a good point about us not being good enough with Rob Holding and Eddie Nketiahs and El Nenis, etc., in terms of the squad. But when you're 8 points clear and you lose it by 10 points it's going to be? That is shocking. Yeah. That should not be happening. Yeah. It's fair enough if you say we're still in the title race and we go into the Wolves game and we win the game and Man City win theirs and we've lost it by 3 points. I can kind of get that. I can kind of make an argument to say, I don't think we've bottled it. I think Manchester City have shown more consistency than us, and they've beaten us twice at the Etihad and at the Emirates, and therefore they've won the league. I can't say that now. So people that have said to me, I don't think we bottled it, are now coming around to saying, actually, how have we not? I would say it's worse than a bottling. I'd say it's capitulation. Like we've just literally, you know what, throw it away.
A bottling would be that you've lost the lead, but you've kept up right to the end, and then Man City have pipped you by a couple of points. But you did bottle it, but you still competed, and it's still pride. You can still take pride from it. This is you're right. It's a capitulation.
Capitulation.
What about you, Tobs? Like, how do you feel looking on this capitulation now? Is it all the more sweet for you because they're not going to eclipse that Poch team that finished on 86 points? And can I mention that Chelsea team finished on 93 points? Was it under Conte? I believe. Let me take a look. Yeah. 93 points under Conte. Tottenham 86 points. How does it feel now for you?
To be honest, I don't really compare them to the Spurs thing, man. Because I was just focused on how they were this season relative to who they were up against, and I felt they for me, I still think they've had a really good season. On the touchline pod yesterday, one of the Arsenal fans rated it 8 out of 10. I'd say that's about fair, man. I think obviously you don't get the extra 2 out of 10 because you didn't win anything and you've capitulated. But when you look at the entire campaign, you can't look at this season you can't look at this season and say it's been a poor season for Arsenal. But I love how the narrative is slowly starting to shift, because when it was a couple of weeks ago and everyone was saying, nope, you've bottled it. Nope, this is a bottling. This is a bottling. This is a bottling. This is a bottling. They said, no. Oh, how dare you say it's a bottle?
I never said that. I never said that.
No,
I never said that.
I didn't say you, Pot. Yeah,
I thought you was pointing to me. Okay, come.
No, I wasn't pointing to you. I said it's funny to see how the narrative is shifting for certain Arsenal fans, because a couple of weeks back,
you're right.
Yeah, when they got battered by Man City and weren't even competitive, everyone said, "Oh no, how can you say this is a bottle? We're up against an immovable object in Man City, blah blah blah." Lo and behold, the weeks keep going. You get thrashed at home by Brighton, who Newcastle pasted, by the way, 3 or 4-1.
Everton pasted.
Everton beat him like 5.
And then you lose to Nottingham Forest. Listen, Nottingham Forest are fighting for their lives. No game is an easy game, but really, you're losing to Nottingham Forest. But not even losing, you're not even scoring. I didn't even watch the game, but from what I heard, Arsenal didn't. I heard that's people telling me that might possibly be up there with the worst performance that they've seen from Arsenal this season. And it's no coincidence that performance has happened in this run of fixtures where your belief is gone, etc., right? They've bottled it. And they can't stand the fact that they've bottled it, because they used to dish a lot of abuse for other clubs when it came to bottling. They can't stand the fact that the very same criticism that they put towards other clubs, they now have to put on their own precious Arsenal. They can't stand it. They can't stand the fact that this iteration of Arsenal were on course to win the most amount of games they've ever won in a Premier League campaign. And it's gone from that to being called bottlers. And as I've said repeatedly, calling this Arsenal team bottle jobs, it doesn't mean that you've had a bad season. It doesn't invalidate all the good things. It simply means the position you put yourself into, when it came down to it in the final stretch of the season, you bottled it.
I think
247 days at top, man. Come on.
I think also Arsenal have to be careful that they don't become Tottenham under Poch, which was in the end, get into finals or get into the last stages and not closing the deal, because last season they bottled the top 4, right? You were in a top 4 race and you fell short there. This season, you raised your level way higher for the earlier part of the season where, listen, the games aren't relegation battles, European scraps. It is the part of the season where you guys excel. You start really strong in this season and you play brilliant football. And Man City fans kept trying to drum home that the points, yes, they're equal, but it's not the same pressure. It's not the same magnitude of fixtures. When you're winning the early part of the season, it's not the same as finishing strong and ending the season in winning back-to-back games like the run that they've gone on, the run that you went on, and the run that they've gone on. It's great runs. You guys were brilliant. Like January up until we couldn't stop. We had to praise you. We had to make you favourites. You guys had only dropped points in 2 games against Southampton and United, but the run that you went on and the run that they've gone on, their run's more important because it's at the back end of the season. And I have to ask you, what do you feel like it's going to take for your team to not keep doing this at the back end of seasons? Like, what is Is it just a lack of leadership experience?
Well, I mean,
these things?
if we get the squad depth in that's needed and it still happens, then there's serious questions on the management, because the reason that he can have as an excuse is we didn't have our first team fit. That's the only excuse he can have. He can't have anything other than that, because when Saliba's out and Rob Holding comes in, you start to drop off. When Martinelli is out and who have I missed? Zinchenko is out, that's your whole left side out. So he's got those excuses. You might disagree with them, but he's at least got them excuses. I don't want him to have any more excuses. I'm fed up. I'm sick and tired of hearing excuses FC from this club. I hate it every year we get something, right? So how do we stop this bottling from next season? Give him no excuses, which is we need a big summer. I don't see this as a fluke season like some people see it as a Leicester. I don't. I think that's crazy to compare us to Leicester. I don't think it's crazy to compare us to Pochettino or Rodgers, Liverpool and Spurs, but I do think it's crazy to say that Arsenal will be nowhere near next season and they'll be lucky to scrape top 6.
I agree.
That's crazy.
I think with the right summer recruitment, we could be up there again. I don't think we're going to go win the league because this team are unreal that we're up against, right? But I don't think that it's like Liverpool, Newcastle, United, Chelsea, Spurs, they're all there. We're Arsenal, they're going to struggle to keep up with them. I think our team is in much better shape than majority of those sides, personally.
Yeah.
Now, we've not got the squad depth with Manchester City, but I look ahead and I see only them at the moment that I look at. Look behind and I think United, they're going to spend, but they've got a lot to do. Don't just get Harry Kane and win the league, right? There's a lot to do there. Right. Yeah. Same with Chelsea, same with Newcastle. Liverpool are the ones that I would look next season and say if they get it right in terms of their midfield and defense, they might be okay. But I still think
have a lot to do
shape than them.
They have a lot to do.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't think Arsenal will be miles away. It could be, but I just don't see it. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know about this.
Go on.
No, the thing is, it's not a given. You have to get your recruitment right. I see a lot of Arsenal fans seeing it as a given that you will get the recruitment right. Vieira is a big example why things ain't perfect now. That guy is shit. Yeah. And the Man City being too good thing again is a narrative that is bullshit, because look at the teams that you've lost to. It's nothing to do with Man City being too good. You're losing against relegation battling teams. That's nothing to do with Man City. You know what I mean? So when you're looking at next season,
I don't think you read the Man City side for a minute. I was going to have you for that. But
no, I rate them. They're brilliant, but that's not why you lost the league this season.
No, I actually agree with that. Yeah, I know.
Because at the end of the day, like we said, mentality's not there. A lot of these players that Arsenal fans rate, they overrate. Clearly, Gabriel, that guy, honestly, the way Arsenal fans were hyping him up, a lot of question marks over him.
He's been good. He's been a good centre half. What
no, come on. How many errors has he made that's led to goals?
He's made errors, but he's been class.
Which defender has not made errors this season? Like,
he's made a lot of it.
This is the problem with you, though, man. This is the problem with you. Why do you do this? I don't get this. You want me to go nuts about your players, but then the minute you see one error in one of our guys, it's been consistently good.
One error.
Go for it.
Gabriel's done a lot of this. He's like we talk about.
Lawless, let me ask you this question:
He's got
how many centre backs this season have been better than Gabriel in the league?
Agued.
Yeah. probably obviously all Man City's centre backs.
No,
I'd say yeah.
I don't agree. I would say
over the course of a season.
I think we need to remember that City in the first part of the season were very bad on transition. So I think
Martinez has been better over the course. I'm telling you, the more time goes on, the more. I'm telling you, Gabriel's going to get exposed season after season. Wait. Who's better, Saliba or Gabriel? Pick one.
Gabriel's been better than Saliba this season.
And Saliba, to be fair, has been wicked.
I don't even agree with that. But all right, let's go through the team.
He's played more games. He's played more games. They both had their periods where they've been playing well, but when Arsenal really put together that devastating run of form before the run-in, Gabriel was their leading centre-back.
But again, I'm not saying Gabriel's shit. I'm saying that they've overrated him and there's serious holes in his game. And I think over time, we're going to see that more and more. But it's not just Gabriel. Saka is a great talent, but he's been called world-class already. The guy has dropped off a cliff since the World Cup, an absolute cliff. And if you're this world-class player that people are saying you are, you're the big boy player, you can't be doing that. Like, yeah, you're going to have those little periods where you go out of form. But this period is too long now. And we keep hearing about he's tired. It goes back to one game a week. Declan Rice has played in every single game near enough. He's hardly missed a game. And we've been in all the cuts. We've been in Europe deep. Do you know what I mean? He literally just played Thursday and then had a great performance on Sunday. So why can't we expect the same from Saka? Why do we have to make
positions, man? To be fair, I'm actually with you on the Saka thing, but that Granit Xhaka is always fit. He's like Rice. He's always fit. He plays every single game. They're two different players, man. But you're right in terms of that.
No, it's not about being fit.
I don't think we've overrated Saka. I think you're coming for two players that you're.
No.
I think those two players you're coming from. I don't think
any
of us have ever said.
I'm going to agree with Lawless. Is overrating him.
I'm going to agree.
Saka's overrated.
Some of your fans have put him on a pedestal that he's not at, and that's not me saying he's not a quality player. He is a quality player. You can't
separate that, Potts. Saying someone is overrated doesn't mean they're shit. Saying
someone is overrated. I'm not even saying he's overrated per se, but I do think there are some Arsenal fans. I've seen some of the content. I've seen some of the things they've said, saying this guy's world class, best right winger in the Premier League, rare tear, better than Vinicius Jr. Like, come on, man. Come on, really. Yeah. Come on.
I don't think Saka has been over. Have we realised how good Saka's been this year?
Is he world class? Is he world class, Pots?
No, I don't. I'm not going into this definition of world class again. No,
all right, whatever definition. But
I hate that. But that word means world class. You don't know what the definition is. No one can tell me what it means.
Okay,
so
but is he?
We don't go into it. He's a good player. He's a great player for his age. He's wicked.
He's a quality player.
He's a quality
player.
I think
we're going for the wrong people here, man. I think we're looking at the wrong people for why Arsenal.
Because I'm right. I can talk about the shit players. We all know who the shit players are, but we need to talk about the players that are.
They're not even shit players.
You brought up Saka, right? You brought up Saka. You take a look at the wide positions for Manchester City, and this is where I would defend Arsenal. When you take a look at the wide positions for Manchester City, you take a look at Silva and Mahrez. They're both interchangeable. They're both world class, right? They're both world class, but they both get their rest. Saka, and this is what I keep saying. This is what I keep. Okay, well maybe not, but this is what I keep saying with Foden. When people make the comparisons with Foden and Saka has way too much responsibility on his shoulders. Even if he was world class, it depends what you want to define it, right? He was in world class form, right? But at the end of the day, he's just out there every single week, regardless. Like there is no competition for that spot, and you have to admit that, Lawless. There is no competition. I'm not saying that he's been playing well or that he shouldn't be standing up to the test of these fixtures. However, I'm just saying most teams in this position, they don't have to shell out Saka week in, week out in the same position, and nobody's competing. There's not even anybody to bring on off the bench. Like you're taking Saka off, you're like, okay. You've done your job now. Earlier on the season, you've done your job. 10 minutes to go, we're taking you off. There's nobody. Who are you bringing on? There's nobody there.
Arteta wants to play Partey at right back. Wait, he can play Partey at right back, but he can't play any other player at left wing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play Jesus out there. I don't know why Jesus hasn't been used to right wing. I was saying that with Tobs yesterday. Jesus has played right wing many times for Man City.
Yeah, so it's not that, oh, well, they haven't got anyone that can. No, that's bullshit. Because he can play.
A lot of it is Arteta not taking him off. I don't understand that one. But I feel we're coming on harsh on a 21-year-old who's lit it up and carried Arsenal for the last couple of years. Man.
Okay, but
I don't think he's been overrated. I think he's been rated highly. Perhaps some Arsenal fans have been deluded by it. Perhaps some fans have.
You're one of them.
Why? What have I said about Saka?
At the same time,
what have I said?
You don't realise what you're doing. You're putting pressure on this young kid's shoulders.
Why? People are comparing Salah. People are comparing Salah to Saka in the comments. Salah is a experienced guy. He's an experienced lieutenant. He's been there for 5, 6, 7 years. Saka's 21. This is his best season on record.
Yeah, but Matisse, they're just saying he's been better than Salah this season. That's all they've said. They've not said this guy's a better footballer than Mo Salah. Mo Salah can get in the bin.
He has been better than Salah this season. Yeah, he has. But
so that's what I'm saying. But I don't think that's overrating him. I think that's just saying how good he's been. I think that's just giving him credit. The last 6 games, he's dipped.
Saka has not been as bad. Salah's not been as bad as people say. Salah's not been as bad. He's just
I agree with that as well. But I'm just saying,
Saka's genuinely been anonymous in games.
Salah's form the second half of the season has been much better than his form the first half of the season.
Yeah.
But I do think with the Saka point, I can see both sides. I actually do agree with Potts that like Saka's probably one of the Arsenal players that has a lot of credit in the bank because of what he's done this season. But at the same time, some Arsenal fans simply shouldn't write checks that they can't cash. Don't say that he's something that he isn't, and then when people hold him to that standard, you start saying, "Oh no, but we didn't say." Yeah, but
he's only 21. He plays every week.
Don't say it. Just don't say it.
You want to talk about him like he's a big boy? Expect us to treat him as a big boy, and
that's fair. That's fair. But what I don't know where this is coming from, and this is my final point on this, right?
Because we're talking about the players.
No, let me finish. Let me land this, right? Because this is what I don't understand. Then you can explain it to me. We're talking about Arsenal's drop-off. You've picked Gabriel and Saka as the two examples as to why we're dropping off. That's not the case, bro.
No, because they're the two.
Well,
they're
Saka,
two of
yes.
your. They're two of them.
I think
Thomas Partey, Zinchenko, and Thomas Partey deserve it more than Gabriel and Saka. Gabriel's not the same next to Saliba, right?
By the way,
Thomas
Gabriel Heavens.
Gabriel Jesus has not been at. That's what I'm saying. So why are we picking on Saka?
No, because I was going.
That's all I was saying, man.
I was going. You didn't even. I wasn't even trying to spend this long on Saka and going on him like that. I'm going around a lot of the players that have been put, and a lot of the times they've earned it. Like obviously, listen, Saka. I really rate him. I've said this, but I think he's a very good player. But again, you lot go too crazy. You've gone too crazy with it, and he has dropped off a cliff, which is he has to take some blame. And he's young, so he shouldn't be.
He has. But I think you're more doing this because of the comparisons that have been made with Saka. But I'm not looking at it from that perspective, because I'm looking at Saka as a 21-year-old, and people can talk about age all they want. This is why he's not Vinicius, right? But for most footballers, we do look at age and we say, right, more experience becomes more, a better level of form coming towards peak end of the season. That's not always, but most of the time we're looking at he's not in his peak, right? We're not saying Saka's in the peak. Are you saying that Saka's in his peak? Are you saying that Saka is not going to continue to get better, or is this the best we're going to see?
Well, no.
Right. You're going to say that. You're not right. You're not going to say that. Hold on. Exactly. You're not going to say that. So for the general consensus, the general rule is that Saka is still developing. This is his first big season with big pressure, and he's faltered,
was one back in the day. Everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that.
Sometimes that happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen with Saka.
Yeah, but Saka's a much better player than Walcott was at his age.
But what I'm saying is
very pace. But let me just finish
there's a
my
chance
point.
he could peak early. That's what
let me just finish my point. The more experienced players are the ones for me that you'd be more inclined to go at, because they're the ones that have had the Zinchenko. He's been in title-winning teams. Look at the performances he's been putting. Look at the fucking goal conceded at Anfield. Look at the nutmeg. You're talking about players dropping off. You got to look at players like him that was doing all of the captaincy, barking instructions, huddles, all of that. He's one of the main players you got to look at.
Both. Simple.
I know, but for me, more responsibility, I'm putting it on.
No, because but when you have someone like, to me, Saka is what you, in your position that he's been placed in, your match-winning player, right? That one when you're behind, or you're drawing to a team you should be beating, he's gonna hopefully come in the clutch for you, right? He's in that role. You don't look at Zinchenko like that. And I agree, he has not lived up to his reputation of doing what he hasn't pulled his weight. I'm not saying Saka's been the worst or whatever. I'm just saying that the position that he's been put in, he's not been fulfilling that role. But yeah,
Arteta deserves any criticism here, or is it just all them players are shit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Who? Oh no, Arteta. Yeah, of course he does. Like we said, Arteta, he could have. If Saka's playing like this week in, week out, sometimes it's a case of, and that's what I said about Bowen, and we just played Bowen.
Can I add though?
Rotate.
Arteta wanted certain players in January, right? And this was reminded to me actually by Ty. No, seriously. Like Caicedo's and Mudrik's and I don't know about the defender. I don't know why you brought in a 21-year-old defender and then you didn't really trust him to start, and then Holding's playing. But do the board have to take some responsibility in the January window? I think as well.
Yeah, 100%. I honestly believe we've been short in every single transfer window so far. We've been short, and you can throw back at me that we've spent a lot of money. 100% we have. Right, we have 100%. We have, but we haven't covered the positions we need, and that's been at fault. You can't say we got January right, we got the summer right, and then you get You're still playing Rob Holding? Come on, man. Like Reece Nelson's coming on, Fabio Vieira, Eddie Nketiah. These players are not good enough, man. That's just the way
Kroenke has done a
it's
good
just
job.
facts. It's just facts.
Enough of going at Kroenke, man, because at the end of the day, you've still spent a lot of money. It's not going to be overnight. You're not just going to sign in a couple of windows. That's it. You've got this world star 11.
It's been 5 years, bro.
It's
4 years, bro.
Edu is what you got to go for. Because I do think
Look at the
Arteta. You give Arteta criticism for not making enough adjustments with his team in the stretch, right? But ultimately, Arteta's done a fantastic job with Arsenal this season, and you know how much I hate Arteta. I think he spelled out his targets in the summer, and he spelled out his targets in January, right? He did the same last January as well. The narrative last January was, oh, you weren't signing any players because you wanted to put more towards the summer. And then in January, when you're in the title race, your director of football and you're in partnership with your owners, your board, whoever it is, I think it's Josh Kroenke, you need to be moving heaven and earth for that manager. And we said this as well. And I remember you were busting joke about Jorginho a couple of weeks back after he had that great game in Newcastle, but I wasn't impressed with Jorginho. I genuinely wasn't. I don't care how good he's been for Arsenal. Nothing against him being a bad player. I just don't think he moves the needle for Arsenal.
But it's a solid January signing.
Solid isn't good enough, though, is it?
No, but for January, I think we've.
No.
That's a January
You're
signing.
saying for January. No, don't say for January though, because they had a chance to win the title, and granted, they could be in the conversation next year. If
they got Mudryk, right? Mudryk, would he have won the title for them? That's Arteta. What Matisse said. Arteta's first choice.
Maybe not. But there is more upside to Mudryk, right? When you look at Trossard now, Pot said he's been a good player, but there's not really upside to Trossard. This is what you see is what you get with Trossard. He's not someone who's explosive, so you can't really play him out wide the same way you play. You can't use him out wide the same way you use Martinelli.
We're talking about Saka cover as well. Yeah.
You can probably, and he can't play on the right wing, right? When we're talking about Mudryk could have played on both sides. He's young, he's rapid, he can dribble, he can shoot, right? So even if he didn't hit the ground running, that could have been a player that could have played a significant part in whatever Arsenal we're going to do next year. And with Caicedo, we don't even need to speak on that one. We know what this guy's about. He would have made immediate.
Yeah. But is there any guarantee that you get him in? Like, don't forget, Brighton are chasing the flipping for Europe, and you just think they're just going to roll over and give you any player that you want.
No one said roll over.
As if you're going to play it.
The point is, we've not made the plan A's that we wanted for a long time now. Vlahovic, Mudryk, Caicedo, and Edu needs to take a hit for that. Now, I don't know for a fact that it is Edu, but actually, when you look at the signings that they've both made since Arteta and Edu have come in together and worked together, they've probably got 7 right, and they've probably got more than 7 wrong, because I can think of many that they've got wrong. Runnison, what was he all about? Yeah, Tavares, he's not worked. Pablo Marie, Cedric, Lokonga, Willian. You've got Danny Ceballos. They got back on loan when it was just pointless doing that. Who else is there they've got wrong? There's been a couple more as well. But I look at who they have got right. They're all playing in the first team. So where I give Arteta credit is he will say, look, this guy's not working. Let's get him out. So the first out of the first 11, there's only Saka and Martinelli and Granit Xhaka, I think, that hasn't been signed by Mikel Arteta. Oh, and Saliba, but obviously he's been bought back in by Mikel Arteta. Everybody else has been signed by Mikel Arteta. So there's 7 or 8 that he's got right for sure. So it has been kind of 50-50 really as the ones we've got right and ones we've got wrong. But people only want to look at the ones that we've got right. We've got a lot wrong still under Mikel Arteta and Edu in terms of our recruitment. So, you know, somebody's just given up another one there. Marquinhos, he's going to go. He's not good enough.
There you go. That proves it. When
there has been some problems with our recruitment.
You're going to get better. You think you're going to get better next season? Like I said, no guarantee, because look how much you got wrong.
I forgot all about Marquinhos, you know.
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear your take on this, because I see Troop's review of the game, and he was livid about the Vieira substitution over Emil Smith-Rowe. Yeah. Seems to me like Emil Smith-Rowe's days at Arsenal were numbered. Do you have the same feeling? Like, why is he bringing on like a Vieira who has been just shit this season over your boy, like an Arsenal boy in Smith-Rowe?
I don't get any of Mikel Arteta's substitutions in the last 6 weeks. It's just been weird, mate. I see Vieira start against Southampton. Haven't seen him until he's come back on at the weekend. Smith Rowe, he jumped on the Etihad for a few minutes. What's going on here? Like Kieran Tierney's been dropped for Kivior now, left back. What's going on there? Fabio Vieira is not good enough for Arsenal.
He's been a
But
bad
Fabio
signing, man,
Vieira,
so
he
far.
is bad, man. Fabio Vieira is like that Brian Hill. Tiny, flicks over, blow him over.
Seems like
Just-
Arteta.
Brian Hill showed more in his
for this.
first shot than your
Ain't
boys
right.
done.
Ain't right for the league, though, are they? Do you know what I'm saying? They're too
But
small.
it seems like Arteta still thinks so. It seems Arteta still sees something in him.
That's what's the problem. So with Smith Rowe, people are saying he might go to like Villa or wherever it be. I'll be gutted if he goes because he's a homegrown talent, had an unbelievable season last season, got into double figures for goals. This season he's been injury prone, and there's either two ways to this. He ain't ready, and he's doing what he did with Martinelli a few seasons ago, where he wasn't getting games, and he was waiting for him to get ready, or he's out of favour now, and he's off. So it would frustrate me. We're talking about spending a lot of money. Maybe they're going to have to get the Tierney and Smith Rowes of this world some money in from them to try and hit 30 million a piece at them and then try to go again with those. But I'll be disappointed if that happens, man. Because if we get rid of Tierney and Smith Rowe, we're going to need to replace them as well as 6 players on top that we already need to try and compete with Man City. It's so much to do.
Just know, and the thing that you one last thing I'll say on Arsenal, right, in the next season is you're looking and go, okay, we need to sign this amount of players to compete with Man City again next season and try to win the league. You're gonna have to go even a level above to maintain Champions League football, because this squad now, like as it stands now, you're gonna have to play your first strongest 11 in the Champions League and in the Premier League, right? Two times a week. So you're gonna have to go mad. Go on, Tobs.
But my thing is they've got the hardest bit locked down, which a lot of the teams around them are still searching to complete, which is you've got the majority of your first 11 sorted. They got the centre back pairing sorted. They got their first choice left back sorted. They got their first choice right back, first choice CDM, first choice number 10 or number 8, whatever you want to call him, and their first choice.
Who's their first choice right back? Who's the first choice right back?
Ben White.
Ben White.
No, because I just see Arteta say that he wants a right back because he wants to move Ben White back.
I think he wants cover. I think he wants cover.
He wants cover.
Well, that's not what he said. He
Tommy
wants to move Ben White in his strongest position.
Tommy Asu's been made of
He's
glass.
not going to move him in. He's not going to move him inside when he's got Saliba there. He just wants cover.
But that's literally what he said. He wants to put him in his strongest position. So then maybe Ben
Lawless,
White's going to become a backup centre back.
The point I'm making is it's easier to build from the position they're in now than the position that other teams are in. So like adding a Declan Rice to actually push team players who were starters for you to on the bench, adding a Caicedo, adding a winger to compete with Saka. These are things that Arsenal can easily do. It's just a case of whether they're willing to spend the money. I don't think it's hard. I think
I agree.
You don't think it's hard to compete, to now take this team? You're comparing them to teams already. You're comparing them to what Liverpool have to do or what Man United have to do. No, let's compare them against the team that they want to compete with, Manchester City, right? They want a team.
If they added Rice and Caicedo, or Rice, or who's it you've been linked with? Rice,
Mason Mount, and
I don't know too much.
Rice and Caicedo is going to cost them nearly like 200 mil.
Yeah,
but that's my point, though. I don't think that.
Are we going to spend? That's what the point was.
That's literally what I'm saying, right? It's not hard. Like everyone can see what Arsenal needs to try and bridge the gap to Man City. It's a case of whether they're willing to spend.
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Anyone could spend that money.
That's a lot of money. So let's see.
Is it Caicedo?
Caicedo. Let me go through the super chats. Arsenal starting to show their true colours now. The last minute goals have dried up. Come on, you Spurs. That's from Jamie. That's been up there a while. Big up, gents from the States. Have you seen the video of TikTok Arsenal fan talking about the Premier League rules aren't fair? I don't know his name, but Potts, you're the most balanced Arsenal fan. Talk to this GZ kid. He's tapped. Listen.
What is this kid? Who is this
guy?
guy?
The team that spends the most time at top of the league should win the title.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Not most points.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to go and watch another sport then. He's clearly deluded. What is he on about?
Yeah. He's the one, I think, there's a video of him crying or something like after Arsenal lost the game. Like
he must be doing it for views or something. The guy.
Yeah, he is.
Carmelo Anthony retired. Wow.
because that's just foolish behavior, right? That doesn't make any sense.
What
Like
is he talking about?
That's not how it works. That's
Big
not
up
that's,
King
it
Juice,
work,
man.
though?
Big up King Juice.
yeah, big up King Juice. Crazy. This one says, think Arsenal drop off next season. Big up Potts, but the mentality of these players is questionable. Liverpool will will return to the top in 23-24.
Listen, I'm not
A lot of work for
maybe
Liverpool to do.
Like I've been saying this is what I said to Grizz.
Yeah,
I don't know why people could just.
it's such this weird assumption, isn't it? Yeah,
like Liverpool. I'm not the only. I get it. Jurgen Klopp. The Jurgen Klopp factor is massive, right? And the fact that they've done it in the past, but we need to actually see what Liverpool are committed to spending this summer, because only after we see the players they buy can we make an informed opinion on whether Liverpool will really be back. Because I don't understand it. They need centre backs and they need midfielders. These positions aren't cheap.
Jurgen Klopp, more than anyone in this league, can get the most out of the least, right? And really stretch a team to their limits. So, like for them, which they will spend, they will sign players. Maybe it's not going to go. They're not going to go.
How do you know how much they'll spend though?
No, I'm not saying they'll spend a lot. I'm not saying they're going to spend 200 mil, but I'm saying they're obviously going to sign players, right? And so they're going to strengthen in some way. Maybe not as much as other teams, but Klopp is a great coach. And like I said, he can get the most out of the least and really, you don't need some crazy squad depth. That's not how he really runs. So there's a reason to have faith in him. You know,
I'm gonna bring up the Gundogan link as well before we move on. But Arsenal this season is a carbon copy of 13-14 Liverpool season. Yep, I agree. Young squad, young manager, but bottled it in the final stretch. It's also a team that lacked leaders. It's a team that conceded a lot of goals. I think that Liverpool team scored about 20 more goals. That's because of Suarez factor. I think Sterling and Sturridge are pretty similar to what you've kind of got in that sense. And in the end, just didn't get the job done. We overrated Zinchenko, not Gabriel. I don't think Zinchenko's overrated. I just think Zinchenko's been exposed. Like he's been exposed to situations he can't deal with. Like Zinchenko on the ball is brilliant. Zinchenko coming in field and being press resistant and picking his passes and playing through the lines. He's still good at all of that. But we knew Zinchenko couldn't defend. If anybody didn't know Zinchenko couldn't defend before this Arsenal kind of collapsed, and you wasn't watching Zinchenko. Zinchenko could never be an elite defender, but that's not what Zinchenko does. But now he's been exposed. Same with Cancelo. Cancelo can't defend either. It doesn't mean Cancelo's a bad player. Cancelo's still a great player.
But Zinchenko is not a great player. He's a good player.
Good, very good, great. You know what I mean? It's all subjective,
no,
I guess.
Not all the same.
If Zinchenko was playing in Perisic's position, you'd be calling him a great player. I've seen the way you overhype some of your own players.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would. If Cancelo was playing for Tottenham, you'd be calling him the best thing since sliced bread.
You'd be calling him a passing demon. You'd be calling him a passing demon or whatever it is.
How is that? Listen, Hudson-Odoi got his farewells today by Bayer Leverkusen, 100%. That is embarrassing. And there's still a game to play. But Sancho has come into this league and done absolutely squat.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. So,
Pulisic, Sancho, Hudson-Odoi. I
don't know who that is. Who's Sancho?
Listen. It looks like all the star boys are gonna fall. It looks like all the star boys are gonna fail. So it's what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's a long day. Who's this clueless West Ham fan? Arsenal fell off because of depth injuries. You can't get 50 out of 57 points because of no pressure. Please stop chatting. Whatever that means.
Delusional. Thanks for the 35 Zar, but that is delusional. Every team gets injuries. Oh, we got injuries. Poor Arsenal. No. Look at your key players. Look at your manager. Even Potts said it. So, wake up. Yeah.
GA in the Premier League this season, 13 goals, 11 assists for Saka. Salah's 19 goals, 11 assists. Listen, Salah was always going to get more goals than Saka. That's the first thing. Salah's a clearly, refined goal-scoring winger. This guy puts up numbers every single year.
I think class, man. No one's saying.
But in a team as well, that's not playing well.
Salah wasn't playing well for most of this for the first part of the season.
Exactly. And if we're to talk about Saka's drop off when it mattered, let's not pretend like Salah's stepping up when it doesn't matter. This season is done for Liverpool. It's been done for months, right?
No, I wouldn't say so because
yes, they're out of all competitions, and now he's putting up the numbers and he's having great.
No, I know, but they were obviously still in the race for top 4.
No, it wasn't. It was never in the race.
They have been. They made up major points.
No, they're not. They're not. Never been in the race for top 4. Never.
No, you can't say that. They got themselves back in it. You can't
they didn't.
Say that.
Well, listen. I never thought they could ever make it. They left themselves.
It was done, Lawless. It was done. It was done weeks back, bro. It was done.
Finished.
I think they could have got back in it.
It's a great end to the season from him, but at the end of the day, Liverpool's season was finished. So they're out of all comps. They've gone on
He's a top quality player, man. Like,
run, you know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Like a world class player, not top quality, world class. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think GA is just you just go off GA and that's the end of the conversation anyway. Saka has played the last 76 Premier League games in a row, including a second half appearance versus Leeds when he didn't train the day before, was sick.
Definitely
no rest from 19 to 21 years old. Yeah,
he definitely needs competition.
He does need rest. And not even just physically, mentally as well. That's you can blame Edu, you can blame the transfer.
No, you can blame Arteta. You can't blame Edu. You can blame Arteta.
Yeah, you can blame Arteta. You can blame all of them. You can blame all of them. I mean, you can blame all of them.
Simple. You're playing. You look at your player. You can see that they need rest, and you keep playing them. That's Arteta, straight up and around.
It's because he feels like he doesn't have someone else to give him the dynamic he wants. I think he wanted a right winger who comes inside on his left foot. Pause. So yeah.
Jamie says, love the show. First time catching it live because we have a holiday in Canada today. Keep up the great work. Fellas, big up, bro. Much appreciated. And thoughts on Trossard Potts? He's low-key garbage. We did speak on Trossard, but Gundogan links quickly before we move on.
Jesus, that's harsh. Gundogan's not going to come to Arsenal.
What's going on that?
Gundogan's going to go back to Germany, I think, mate.
Or sign a new contract, isn't it?
Or stay there, yeah. I don't think he's
I think the time of Man City selling Arsenal players is done. Surely.
We want Cancelo and Gundogan, but we've never been linking Man City players before.
Phase 4. Let's copy Pep Guardiola's homework.
Yeah, maybe that's not phase. We're only in phase 3, man. We're only in phase 3. Oh dear, how long is this phase? Jeez, how many phases are there? I don't.
Is that not a good model though? Just keep taking City's leftovers, and I mean, we all speak about City. City's B team will basically finish in the top 3, right? So if that's the plan, then
but surely after Arsenal just had this challenge, right? Man City are going to go. Actually, we better not give them any more players. We better not help Arsenal.
You would assume so, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would take him in a heartbeat. I love the player, but I don't think he's going to come. Yeah. Xhaka's going. He's going to buy Leverkusen. I think you guys will know that by now. Yeah. So Gundogan would come in there. But I hear we want Rice and Caicedo. We're going to get Rice, Caicedo, and Gundogan. I don't see it happening, man. I think it's a rumor. I think it's one of those rumors that Gundogan might be leaving. He must be going to Arsenal because Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus did. I'd be amazed if he was linked with Arsenal if we hadn't already signed Jesus and Zinchenko. That's where the links come from.
Easy link to make, isn't it?
It isn't easy. I think it's lazy journalism, unless there's something massively in it that I don't know about. But I'll be surprised if he does come. I'll put it that way.
All right, well, I got to bounce. So
they've been asking you, are you going to win the Conference League? Quick prediction: Are you gonna get it done?
We're gonna do this, as Robbie said.
Wow, you just jinxed yourself. You just jinxed yourself.
I know. I need to exercise the demon of Robbie because I can't have any of his jinxness in me. I said that. It's like someone said in our comments. Someone commented and said it's in our hands or something. They said no, we got bigger fish to fry. That's what they said. They said they come going, we got bigger fish to fry. I said, I'm not saying that. Get that out of here because that's a jinx. That's a curse. I'm not saying bigger fish to fry. Yeah. But June 7th, we're gonna do it, mate. It's gonna be.
I think you will. You've been telling me you're gonna win it all this time, so it must
we
be.
We got to win it. We got to win it.
It's a long time to wait, isn't it? June 7th. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. So
there you are.
In the meantime, and in between time, we got a game against Leicester. We can finish on a high. And get some more momentum going into the game. But either way, Leicester game don't matter. I'm going to enjoy it. We'll see where Spurs end up. Conference or no Europe. Either way, they're mudded. And long may it continue. And listen, good luck to Pochettino at Chelsea. Hope he smashes it and finally gets the trophies that he deserves. So anyway.
Yes, Lawless.
Next week. Come on, you Irons.
In a bit, brother.
Can't
Right, we're
believe he's
gonna
just
be
said
wrapping
that at
up
the end,
anyway.
huh? I
We're
cannot
gonna be
believe
wrapping
he's
up.
just said that.
Final thoughts, I guess. I mean, we haven't mentioned Chelsea or Tottenham for obvious reasons. These two clubs are absolutely dusted, mudded, finished, finitoed. The season is going out on a whimper. Very embarrassing. I don't know what more I can say about my team, to be honest. Like we lost to Manchester City's B team. They went nice on us. They could have scored goals.
Are there any
We could have
teams more
scored goals.
embarrassed than Chelsea and Spurs this season? That's a good question.
Well, I mean, our embarrassment is higher because we're a bigger team, bigger club, spent 10 times, triple, quadruple, million times more money and finished way lower and are not even anywhere near European places. So I think in terms of who's more embarrassed, it has to be us because our standards are higher. We expect more, we spend more, and we've dropped off the furthest. So that's an easy question. We're 10 times more embarrassed.
What I was meaning,
but in terms of the future, I'm way more hopeful for the future than Tobs will be.
Yeah, no, I'll be more hopeful as a Chelsea fan as well. But my kind of question was, is there another team in the Premier League that can hold their heads up and say, wow, Chelsea and Tottenham have had a much better season than us? And I'm not talking about everyone below you because they're expected to finish in those positions. Maybe Leicester?
People are going to say Leicester and Everton.
Leicester?
If Everton go down, they're a big club to go down. Is pretty bad. But
like, it ain't even me having a dig. I'm just actually looking at how bad you've been and thinking who else could sit there and go, yeah, we're in that club, maybe Leicester. But it's been shambles for both of your clubs, man.
I think honestly, Southampton have achieved a lot since they came to the Premier League. I think they can come back. They can come back and, you know, they're Southampton. Do you know what I mean?
It's mad. Like I had Tottenham in my top 4. I actually had Tottenham finishing 3rd. I had Chelsea finishing, I think it was 5th. Like, it's mad. It's actually mad. Like how much of a drop off there's been this season, man. But you both, I mean, like, let's be fair. You're going to get poached. You're going to spend again, going mental. Tottenham, God knows what. They're the only club I don't have a clue what's happening with Tottenham. I don't know who their manager's going to be. I don't know what players they're going to sign. I don't know if Harry Kane's going to stay.
Maybe he'll be on slot.
Director of football as well. Don't know who that is.
Yeah,
it's a circus. Like the owners and Levy, they like. I hope they stay.
I've seen Levy's going for a more data-driven model now with trying to copy the likes of Brighton and Brentford.
Wow. He's been copying Arsenal's worst period for the last God knows how long. Let's move the stadium. Let's try and sneak into top 4 and call it a trophy. Let's try and do all this. Mate, don't copy our worst fucking time. Copy Man City, man. Don't copy us. Or copy Brighton. Don't copy Arsenal. Now they're going to go for a project or a process.
We need to
do what Arsenal did.
We need to spend more than Brighton, but yeah,
but get your recruitment like them, you'll be all right.
Sign the right players, but we need to spend money, big money on the right players.
They need to go out, man. Your owners and Levy need to go, man.
They're horrible, man. They're horrible. They're horrible, bro. They're horrible.
Yeah. Before we come to a close, Tobs, are you taking anything from this season, or is it just a complete disaster and just forget about it? Like not one positive.
Absolute shambles. It's a 3 out of 10 season. Shambles.
Fair enough. Me, I ain't taking nothing from this either. I'm just I hope the owners have learned their lesson, not to move. So I think they've moved like a kid in a candy store. They've moved like a guy that plays FIFA or Football Manager in a way. They're just so excited to get everything done at once that it's ended up being catastrophic, and it resulted in our worst ever performance. But yeah, just move on with the season and. One more week, Tobes. Just one more week, bro, and that's all done. We're off to New York, holidays.
Aston Villa, hold on, please. Just hold on.
You really don't want to be in conference next season. I think you're going to get...
Listen, once Champions League was done, because contrary to Lawless's thoughts, I did want Champions League football. I badly wanted Champions League football, but once Champions League was done, it was like, I guess I'd have to take Europa League, but I quite like the Europa League competition, to be honest. I don't like being in it season in, season out, but it's respectable. But once that looked like that wasn't happening and I could see the trend, the downward trend, I knew, we're going to slide. We're going to lose a couple of games. We're going to be in and around 7th. I said, yes, safe. Please, just I'd rather finish
would you take a Leeds win just to keep you out of it?
Yes, I would. Genuinely. But then again, I also want Leeds down because I think they're awful. Like 2 seasons in a row of them being so bad, I don't think they actually deserve Premier League football. So
I agree.
Best case scenario for me is we win, or at the very least we draw, and Aston Villa beat Brighton, and yeah, happy days.
Funnily enough, I would have preferred Southampton to stay up and relegate Leicester, Leeds, and Everton. All three of them.
Nah, Southampton had to go, man. They just
I know, but I don't know, man. They were the only ones to stop City from doing the quadruple, so I have to give them something.
It's too much. They had to go.
But yeah, mad. Man said it. Do you know what? What you need is Brighton to beat City, then Brighton on the beach against Villa, and then it's done. That'll be it. Because
well, I don't think Brighton will beat City. I think Brighton will probably.
I think you'll come 8th, man. I don't think you'll be Leeds. I think you'll
actually
come 8th.
Brighton only need a point.
I think we're losing to Leeds personally.
Yeah, Brighton only needed a point. If they get a point, then it's done. So then that's what you need.
Brighton deserve it, man. 100. They deserve it. They've been quality this season.
Right, guys, we're going to wrap up. Do you know what I mean? Great show. Absolutely fantastic. Tobs, let the people know where to find you, bro. Let them know.
Tapping Tobs on all socials. Don't wear it out.
There you are, guys. Potts, do let the people know where to find you.
Cheers, man. If you can do us a favor, people, and head over to Football's 12 Man podcast. I'm only a few hundred off of 9K, so that would be amazing if you can come and get us up to that. At Dan Arsenal 87 on all socials as well. Thanks, Matisse. Big up Tobes and big up Lawless.
Pleasure. There you go, guys. It's all finitoed. Brighton have a 16 better goal difference. They're already secured. Let me take a look. Oh, yes. Oh, God.
Yeah, they've got it. They've got it.
Yeah, it's finished. It's finished. Unless Aston Villa are going to do a madness, it's absolutely done. Yeah. There you go. They might be on the beach against Villa on the last day. Who knows? Guys, make sure you smash up the likes, subscribe to the boys. Hit the likes. We're nearly at 200. Should be hitting 200 a while ago, but I'm sure you guys will sort that out at the end of the show. And then, yeah, until next time, next week, final one of the season, obviously, with the season ending. Pick up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace.